guys, Winnie here. It's DIY time at Draw So Cute, and today we're going to be making these really fun and awesome spinners. So let's get started. To make this paper fidget spinner, the first thing you need to do is go to my website at drawsocute.com and print out this template. If you can, print it out on a little bit heavier stock paper so that when you cut it out, this becomes a nice template to trace onto a heavier stock cardboard. But regular paper will work too, it's just that it will last longer, your template. And so if you've noticed, I provided two sizes right here, and this is just a smaller one. I've noticed it's easier for smaller hands, it works a little bit better, but it's all up to you. The most important thing you're going to need to make this project is your cardboard. So whatever you have at home that's a little bit heavier, nice little heavy stock cardboard, whatever you can recycle, whatever you have available, as long as it's nice and stiff, and it will work. What I don't recommend is this kind of cardboard, the corrugated kind, because although it is stiff, it bends a lot easier. So I find that as you cut it, it bends more and it just might not last as long. So if you can, find something that's more solid in terms of the cardboard. So luckily for me today, I have this nice hard stock card that I'm able to use, and it's white on both sides. So then it's easier for me to decorate because it is white. But if you wanted your cardboard to be white, all you would have to do is to cut out this shape and just glue it on top. After you've printed out the template, the first thing you want to do is to cut this spinner out and also the circle. So this is what I have right here. And then from there, you want to take your cardboard, whatever that you're using, and to trace the template onto your cardboard. So I'm just going to go ahead and use a pencil. So just hold it down and trace all around it. So you're going to have to, that's why it's, I said it's a little bit easier if your printout is a little bit stiffer on stiffer paper, so that it's just easier to trace. So just trace this one shape onto whatever cardboard piece that you're going to use, and you don't need to trace the circle, but you need to cut it out. So I'll show you later on how to use this piece. So once you've traced it, if you already know what design you're going to be using, you can go ahead and color it now. So once I have this spinner already traced out, I'm also going to go ahead and use my coin right here and trace out two circles. And the reason I'm not using this piece right here, because it's kind of hard to cut a perfect circle, and since I have this nice round coin, it's just a lot easier just to trace this. So you want two of these circles. So there, you've got two circles, and then this spinner right here is what you want. So after you've done that, go ahead and cut it out. So this is what I have here. I've cut it out right here, and my two circles. So from there, the next step is to go back and take your template, and we're gonna put it right on top of your cardboard piece. And this part is very important, is you want to find the center of the spinner. So get your either your needle or your pin, and this dot I've provided for you is the center of the spinner. So you want to come in here, hold it nice and firm, and poke a little mark through that dot. So this is might be a little bit dangerous because it is a needle. Please ask for adult help if this is a little bit too scary. So then you've got the center of the spinner right there. You've got this little hole. So you're gonna now you're gonna need this little circle that you've cut out, and you're gonna do the same thing. Just put it right on top of your circle and poke a hole through so you know where the center is. So the reason you want the center is so that when it's the spinner is spinning, it won't wobble. It'll be nice and steady. So right here, I'm holding my spinner really nice and firm, and I'm going to take my needle right here, or your pin, like I said, and poke a hole right through. And you can come back in here with the needle and just kind of wiggle it around a little bit, just trying to make the hole a little bit bigger. And then come in with your toothpick and just go through with your toothpick. Just try to force it in here like that, and just try to use your toothpick now, and you can try to make it bigger with the toothpick. But what I like to use is that you can come in here with a pen. So just bring in this pen through the hole and just poke it right through. like that. Just jam it all the way through. And so then, as you notice right here, I hope you can see it, it's creating this little piece of paper that kind of comes out. So you definitely don't want that because this is going to cause friction as you spin it. You want this part to be flat. So come onto the other side and poke it back. And just nice and firm, poke it back in to flatten out that little piece of paper that comes out. And you might need to do this several times just to make the hole a little bit bigger. So your goal basically is to be able to fit this toothpick in there nice and loose, but not too loose, just loose enough so that you can spin it really easily like that. The next step is to go back to your small circles right here, and you've already given yourself the center. What you want to do now is go back in, poke the center, and take your pin again and make a hole all the way through. So you just want to make a little hole through both of them, right in the center. So you can come in here and make it a little bit bigger so that I can put my toothpick through it. So then from there, take your toothpick again, and we're going to come right in here and jam the toothpick in. So the goal right now is this first circle right here is to put this toothpick in here, but you want it nice and snug. You know, it's not going to be like this one where the toothpick can fly freely in and out. You want it nice and snug, and you want it as straight as possible, perpendicular to the toothpick. So right here, so this would not be good. You don't want it slanted. You want it nice and straight as possible. And then from there, you would take your glue. So like I said, I prefer the crazy glue because it dries a lot faster. I'm so impatient. You could use these regular white glues, but it just takes forever to dry. So if you have crazy glue, it works really well. But like I said, if you might need some help with this because you don't want to get this on your hands. So I'm gonna put some crazy glue right here on the top. I'm just going to dab some right here on the edge so that I can stick this little circle to my toothpick. Like that. So just a little bit, and I just want to make sure that it's nice and perpendicular as much as possible. Then from there, we can start to decorate this spinner. So while it dries. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to basically glue these pennies. So now all the pennies are glued on, and it's really solid because I use crazy glue and it dries really fast. But just be careful with the glue when you're using it. And you don't have to use coins. You can, I just came up with using buttons. Just something that can fit in this space and has some weight. Just play around with it, use your imagination. So the next step is to come back here. This is nice and dried now. You want to take either your scissors or like a wire cutter, a plier wire cutter. And I like to use the wire cutter if you have it because it's nice and flat. It's a little bit easier to cut, but you can definitely use your scissors too. So I'm just gonna come in here and basically go nice and flush to this circle and snip off the excess toothpick right there. So a little part of it is gonna poke out of it. So I'm just trying to flatten that back in a little bit so that it doesn't poke out as much. And so now you have this nice little piece right here. And what you want to do now is to take this and fit it through right here. So, but before you do that, another option is what I've done with some of my spinners is you can put a little metal ring so that it doesn't, it creates a space, but it also helps to prevent friction. Then that's what's going to stop your spinner from spinning. So by putting the metal ring, it makes a nice little sound and it gives some gap between this circle and your spinner so that your spinner spins a lot better. But you don't have to have this ring at all. It's just an option, or something kind of plastic, hard plastic that you can put in here, but you don't have to. I'm going to show you today how to do it without it. So you can just put this in here, basically now. And then the next step is to take this other piece that you had, and you want to also put this toothpick through it. So I'm just going to come in here and just make my hole a little bit bigger. And I'm going to push this toothpick through all the way in, so nice and snug. And I'm gonna push it all the way down like this. So it's not gonna spin as easily, because if you've noticed, the two pieces of circles are nice and snug against the spinner. So what you want to do is, what I like to do is to give some space in between here. So I'm going to come in here with this cardboard, extra piece of cardboard that I have, and just give myself a spacer. Basically, I'm going to put this in here. Okay, this is going to work better, I think. And tuck that in. There. Okay, and I'm hanging on to everything. There. So now I've got this little gap in here, and now I'm going to put glue right here, just like I did to the other side. So if you notice, this is a side that's already glued in. I'm going to come in here and glue this part in. So I'm going to put glue right here on this edge. Once again. And then I'm going to wait for that to dry, and then remove these little pieces. So there, once it's dried, you can go ahead and we're going to snip this part off right here. And once again, I'm going to bring in my wire cutter right here and just go as close as possible and snip it off. So like I said, scissors will work fine too. So now you've created this little spinner right here. So kind of impatient, it's not as dry as it should be, so it's kind of sticking to my hand. But basically this is it. I wanted to show you the basic way of making this spinner, because once you get a hang of this, then you can make it any way you want. So I just want to make sure that you see this part right here, is to make sure that there is a tiny bit of space between these two circles and the spinner, so that the spinner, while you hold it, can spin nicely around. Isn't that so cool? It makes that nice little noise right there, and it spins really well, just like that. The last step right here is, because you see the toothpick, it kind of pokes you. I mean, you can do without it, but it's not as nice to hold. So I thought of a nice way what you could do is to put some foam on it. So I've got this foam piece. Let's use blue today. So I'm going to get this foam piece, and I'm going to take my penny, and I'm basically just going to trace a circle, and I need 2 of them that I can put on both sides. So I'm just going to trace this. So once you've cut it out, the foam piece, just peel off the back, or if you don't have a back on it, you just put glue. And what you want to do is come to the center and just use a toothpick and just kind of try to poke in the center a little bit. Don't go all the way through, but just poke it so it has a little bit of a little indentation right there, because this part's poking out, so make it a little bit easier for it to stick. So just poke it, but not all the way through, and then you can just bring it in here and pop it right on top of that. So you might need some help to stick it together, and what you can do is to use these pliers and just come in between and clamp it down if it's not sticking as well. So if it's not sticking as well with this sticker, just put some glue on it and then clamp it down like this as you rotate it, and it should stick really nicely in there. So there, basically like that. So now it's nice and soft to hold as you spin. So now comes the fun part of decorating. You can experiment with different ways of decorating it. So then from there, let's see what you get when we spin it. Pretty cool, right? So I wanted to show you today all the ones that I made. I had so much fun, I couldn't stop. But this is the rainbow one that I first started off with, and I was just kind of like, why do I need to use coins? And I have buttons laying around, so I tried the buttons and they really worked, and I really like how they turned out because it has a nice texture. And I put one on both sides right here. And it's basically the same thing the way I did this. Instead of coins, it was buttons, and I just decorated with the rainbow colors. And this one has the metal rings inside. If you can see that, I did add the metal rings. And the nice thing about that is when you spin it, it spins a lot better, and you have this nice little sound. And look at the cool colors. Isn't that really awesome? So experiment with that. So this side, see the difference? Look how cool that looks. So just experiment with it. And since my buttons had holes in it, I just decided to fill it with some glitter glue. So like I said, the options are endless. And then this one here is the smaller size one. And I had to make a Pokemon one for you guys. I hope this really inspires you to give it a try. And it's the same thing. I used the pennies right here, but then I went ahead and cut out a circle, and I drew my Pokemon on the circle and just glued it onto the penny. And then same thing right here. Instead of foam, I just cut out another piece of paper and drew a Pokeball and glued it on top. And on this side right here, I just put a piece of foam, and I tried a different look right here, experimenting with different stripes at different levels. And so as I spin it, look at that. Isn't that a cool pattern? So like I said, have fun with this and experiment different ways, and the colors come out when you spin it. And I think that's all I have to show you, but look at what else you can do. It becomes like a top. You can just let it go and it just spins on its own. It's so cool. So let's see if I can make them, all three of them spin at the same time. No, don't stop. Yay! There, my fidget spinners. I hope I made it easy for you guys to follow. And remember that please be careful with the crazy glue if you're going to use crazy glue. And also, please be careful with the pins and the needles when you're poking a hole in it. Ask for adult help if you need it, and just have fun with this project. I hope this really inspires you, because right now it's all about fidget spinners everywhere. You see them everywhere, so hopefully this is a nice way for you guys to create your own without having to spend a lot of money. So thanks so much for watching. Hope you love this DIY project, and if you do, please give me a thumbs up and share it, and remember to subscribe so you won't miss any new Draw So Cute videos. See you